doing pretest 3B, which this is. I know it says 3A in the upper right-hand corner, but it's 3B. All right, so I just forgot to change that particular mark. Let's go through the same exact thing we did on pretest 3A. Negative 3n plus 5 is equal to negative 22. Subtract 5 from both sides. Dividing by negative 3, we get n is 9. But this question, it didn't only ask to see if you knew how to solve a standard two-stepper. That's a little simple. It then wanted to see if you knew how to evaluate an expression and put the two things together. Not that combined they're difficult, but it's at least a little bit of challenge in it. Very little. So 5 times 9, because that's what 5n means. 5 times 9 is 45, plus 3 is 48. Number 2. Mary takes home $4,850 each month. She pays $1,500 for rent and another $300 for her car payment. What is the total percent rounded to the nearest whole number of her monthly income? What percent goes to rent and her car payment? So the first thing I needed to do was add up the rent and the car payment. They add up to $1,800. And percent is always the part over the whole. So $1,800 is the part that's going to the car and the rent, divided by the $4,850 of income, cross multiply, and I get 180,000 divided by 4850, and that's 37%. Now you'll notice I did this slightly different than I did on pretest 3A. And the reason is because I want to show you both ways, and you can use whichever one makes the most sense for you. Some students really like to cross multiply, which is what I did. 4850 times n equals 1800 times 1000. And then I divide by the 4850 and have my answer. In the other one, we just converted to a decimal and moved the decimal 2 places to the right. Whatever works for you. So when I look at these two equations, I note, well, hey, wait a minute, we're going to have to distribute. Then I've got x's on the same side, so I'm going to have to combine like terms. And then I'm going to have an opposite side, opposite operation situation. They're a pretty involved equation. But you did very well on them on the last test, so I expect you to do well on them on this test too. Distributing the 3x minus 12 plus x is 28 minus x. Same side, same operation. Combine those terms. 4x minus 12 is 28 minus x. Do the opposite here, adding x to both sides. 5x minus 12 is 28. Add 12 to both sides. 5x is 40, dividing by 5. X is equal to 8. I know I was a little casual about that, but again, the last test, I think virtually every student in the class got it right. So I don't want to overteach here. Distributing the 5, 10x minus 5 minus 2x is 3x plus 10. Same side, same operation. Let's combine like terms. 10x minus 2x is 8x. That's what I mean by same operation. 10x minus 2x is 8x. Minus 5 is 3x plus 10. But what you'll notice here is that now the x's are on opposite sides. So I do the opposite operation. When I say opposite sides, I mean of the equal sign. So minus 3x to both sides. 5x minus 5 is 10. Adding 5 to both sides, 5x is 15. Dividing by 5, x is 3. Okay. As a 7th grader, Scott weighed 88 pounds. As an 8th grader, he weighed 106 to the nearest whole number. What percent is Scott's relative weight change? So it's the difference over the original amount. Now this is the other way to evaluate a percent. Part over whole. The difference is 106 minus 88, that's 18, out of the original weight, which was 88. 18 divided by 88 is rounded off to 20%. Next up, if €1 is $1.09 and $1 is 0.92 euros, how many dollars are 70 euros worth? Now you could do this the old way, and a lot of students did get it correct when they did that, and that's fine. But the other thing is you can set up a proportion. E over dollars means euros is over dollars. So €1, $1.09, equals 70 euros, I don't know how many dollars. So I cross multiply, x times 1 is just x, and 70 times $1.09 is 76.30. Number 6, what are the first quartile, median, third quartile, minimum, maximum of the data depicted in the box plot? The minimum is 2, the first quartile is 3, the median, that's this line down the middle here, that's 6, the third quartile here, the end of the box, is 8, and the maximum over here on the right, that's 10. Okay. Compare the range of group A to the range of group B. Well, the range is highest minus lowest, and as you can tell, in group B, the highest and the lowest are far more spread apart. So the range of group B is greater than the range of group A. which was the lowest mean, the lowest median, and the smallest range. These are the same numbers as from last time. I just copied them over, but this time I want the lowest. So the lowest mean, set 1. The lowest median, set 1. The lowest range, also set 1. Which box plot represents the data with the smallest standard deviation? You're going to want the one with the smallest box and whisker spread over the least area. In this case, what you see is, well, you know what? Boy, as I look at this, there's no obvious answer. I'm not liking this. Disregard question number 9. Okay, disregard question number 9. I don't think there's enough information to really give a very good answer. The other example on 3A, there was a definite answer. On this one, I don't like it so much, so let's skip it. I tended to think that it was probably this one in the middle here because the interquartile range, this blue rectangle in the middle, was smallest, but I don't think we can absolutely conclude that. So let's just disregard number 9. Number 10 is the same as the other day, and what we're looking at here is the fact that the dots in the first graph in the upper left here, that's definitely a negative correlation because it's going down. But the scatter points, the points on the dot, the scatter plot, they're really, really close to the line. So they have to have a tighter correlation than, say, this one on the lower left, which is still a strong correlation, but it's not as strong as the one above. So this one here with the red line is negative 0.9. The one without a line is negative 0.8. Now this going up here on the far right, this is a positive 0.9 because they're very, very tight. And the 0.8 is almost as tight right over there. Which graph has no correlation? That's like they're just spread out all over the place, no pattern to them. Here it is. Third one, Pythagorean theorem. Leg squared plus leg squared is hypotenuse squared. In the first one, the x is on a leg. So x squared plus the other leg is 4 squared equals hypotenuse across from the right angle is 8 squared. So x squared plus 16 is 64. Subtracting the 16 from both sides, x squared is 48. X is equal to the square root of 48. And you could possibly ask for that as a decimal to the nearest whole number. If you did that, you would come up with something just south of 7. So it's probably like 6.9, okay? Or rounded to the nearest tenth. As far as the green one goes, this is a leg squared plus leg squared is hypotenuse squared because, again, it's the Pythagorean theorem. This time, however, the x is the hypotenuse. So it's 14 squared plus 48 squared equals x squared. 14 squared is 196 plus 2304. What's that? Somehow I got this box in here. I don't know where this came from. 196 plus 2304 is x squared. 196 and 2304, it almost looks like a 1 there. Adds up to 2500. So if x squared is 2500, oh, I see what happened. The thing must have slidden because I did the square root to both sides and I got x is equal to 50. Okay? Don't know, for some strange reason it slid. I don't know why. Number 13, very important, bond pays simple interest. Remember we talked about that or re-emphasized that this week when we hit the questions that you had gotten wrong most commonly on the last test. So a bond is simple interest. Don't ever forget that. So it's I equals PRT. As you can see, something is very strange going on with the way my writing is being stored on this paper. This should just say I equals PRT. That's all. I don't know where the S came from, and I don't know where the other piece of the I went. So I equals 9,000 times 0.05 times 10. And I don't know where the answer went either, for that matter. I equals 4,500. I remember doing the answer. I remember putting it down. I don't know where it disappeared to. All right, number 14. Todd invests $75,000 in a retirement account that earns 14% compounded monthly. Now, that's a really key phrase. When it said simple interest before, I'm thinking I equals PRT. When it says compounded monthly, I'm thinking A equals P, parenthesis 1 plus R over N. Remember, make that rate a decimal to the NT power. So 75,000 is the principal, the amount you start with. 1 plus 0.14 divided by 12. Parenthesis to these 12s will always match, just as the ends do here. 12 times 20 years. So that's 75,000 times, doing a little math, 1.01167 to the 12 times 20 is 240th power, and I get $1,213,616. Okay. Number 15. Jesse invests $4,000 at 18% interest. How much money will it be worth in 12 years? Again, you can put the formula in. You can plug it in. It's not a problem. Compound it once a year. But the rule of 72 is the quickest, easiest way to do this. 72 over 18 is 4. That means it takes 4 years to double. So you start with 4,000. 4 years later, you have 8,000. 4 years later, 8 doubles to 16,000. And 4 years later, it doubles to 32,000. Number 16. A jacket's on sale for 25% off. If the normal price of the jacket's $192, what is the new sale price? Okay, so the new sale price will be 25% of 192, which is 48, and then 192 minus 48 is 144. Why do I minus? Because we intelligent consumers know that when something is on sale, you deduct or take away, decrease the price. So the original price was 192. We decreased the amount of the sale, which was 25% or $48. That leaves me with 144. Last but not least, you're a teacher now. You got a class. There's 20 students in the class. You give out a test. 9 receive a B. 6 an A, 1 a C. 4 students fail. What percent of the students pass the test? First, I got to figure out how many passed. 9 and 6 is 15, and 1 more is 16. So percent over 100 is part over whole. The percent out of 100 is 16 out of 20, because 16 passed out of the whole number of students in the class, which was 20. Cross multiplying, 20n equals 1600, dividing by 20, and I get n equals 80. I began these videos by mentioning how important it is that you do well and reminding you that performance is a function of preparation. Do what you got to do to make sure you know how to do these questions, because anything reflected on this pretest will absolutely be on the test. I literally make the test on Moodle, on the left side of my computer, and on the right side I have a Word document in which I put a similar question to everything I put in Moodle. So it's all there. Performance is a function of preparation. Anyone who told you practice makes perfect is a liar. Perfect practice makes perfect. Good luck. Do well.